Hello, I am Nadia, dietitian and clinical hypnotherapist, and today I wanted to chat to you a little bit about how dietitians can support you with your health and your goals for your well-being, whether that be from improving pain to improving your gut health to just feeling more energized in your daily life to improving your relationship with food. But first up, what do dietitians actually do? Now, historically, dietitians have been thought of as the food police, and although we all work a little bit differently, when I have clients first coming through my door, I will always explain my role just so we're on the same page. And what I always say is that I work with lots of people with lots of challenging symptoms. So lots of gut symptoms, lots of pelvic pain, lots of hormonal stuff. But I also work with a lot of people with a challenging relationship with their food and body. So I don't like to take a eat this, don't eat this approach. It's more so, how can I help you to feel better or reach your health goals whilst also having a happy relationship with food? And as you probably guessed from that little spiel, the areas that I'm most passionate about working in are gut health and women's health, including conditions like endometriosis. But as dietitians, we can generally support people in a broader range of areas, and often people that are coming to me have multiple overlapping conditions or symptoms. So we might also be supporting with things like PCOS or polycystic ovary syndrome, fertility challenges, pregnancy, postpartum, perimenopause, menopause, chronic illness, or even just not feeling like your healthiest self or dealing with chronic symptoms like fatigue. So that's who we support, but how do we actually do it? Now, as we all know, women's health has been chronically under-researched and underfunded for a very long time. What we also know is that conditions associated with women's health have often been thought of or treated as solely gynecological or reproductive conditions. But what we now know is often these conditions impact the whole body and many body systems. So as dietitians, yes, we're definitely looking at gynecological and reproductive health, but we're also looking at hormonal health or endocrine health. We're looking at the gastrointestinal system. We're looking at the nervous system, our immune system, our musculoskeletal system, and of course our psychosocial health. But depending on what someone is coming in for, what they're presenting with, we might lean to focusing on one or more of those systems as we do it. So for example, if someone is coming in with PCOS, we would be focusing a lot on the hormonal system, including sex hormones like testosterone, but also hormones associated with balancing our blood sugars like insulin. If someone's coming for perimenopause and menopause, we'll definitely be focusing on those hormones, but also other systems that are associated with that transition in life. So our musculoskeletal system, and also things like our heart health and our cholesterol levels. And then when I'm working with my lovely clients with endometriosis or pelvic pain, I'm definitely focusing on the hormonal system. But a huge part of endometriosis is involved in the immune system with the chronic inflammation. So we're definitely looking at how we can support those anti-inflammatory processes in the body as well. And the last and probably most important thing I want to touch on today is that if you're seeing a good dietitian, they will focus on things in a very holistic manner. I always say that, yes, when you come to see a dietitian, you might expect to focus solely on food, perhaps what foods you're removing, or maybe even an elimination diet like the low FODMAP diet. And although those things can be really helpful, I also want to say that hopefully that dietitian is focusing on things in a very holistic manner. After all, the conditions or the symptoms we're treating are often very multifactorial. So hopefully they're looking at, yes, perhaps those foods that we might take out or an elimination diet, but also what foods are we actually adding in? Maybe something like an anti-inflammatory diet. We might be zooming on specific nutrients like protein or fiber, or even looking at evidence-based supplementation. But we're not just looking at the what we're eating, but also looking at the how we're eating. So the patterns in your eating, is there consistency? Is there adequacy? How do you feel about what you're eating? Is there any fear around food? Or things like emotional eating. But not only are we looking at that, we're looking at how your sleep, how's your sleep going? How are your stress levels? How are you being supported by your other healthcare practitioners, and how can we support that too? Really, we're taking a very holistic view of things with the goal of hopefully helping you maintain a lot of joy around food and put in place some strategies that are actually sustainable fit in with your lifestyle and can be maintained long term. So hopefully that gives you a picture as to how dietitians can support your well-being. And if you have any questions for me at all, please don't hesitate to get in touch.